Did you have any, I mean, Kevin Spacey being Kevin Spacey, do you have any experience with him?
I show up to the rehearsal and like Kevin Spacey like cuts it and he's like, somebody tell her to blah, blah, blah. I don't remember what it was.
Right to you?
Right?
You get Walking Dead from a self-tape in a motel. Now, stage 2, what happens next?
Because this show is so secretive. It's my first season and I'm a co-star, so I only get the pages where I am speaking.
Well, here's what did make me feel unsafe. Getting mail to my address.
Ooh, yeah.
My home address. Like,
oh, yeah.
Dang, really?
Yeah.
Welcome to the Filmmaker's Corner presented by Primal Group. We are here with me, Peter, Michael, Connor,
hello,
and our guest, Lindsley Register.
Yay!
Welcome.
Thank you.
Lindsley, thank you for being here.
Totally. I'm happy to be here.
So where do we start with you, Linz? We go way back.
Yeah.
So Lindsley was the lead actor. I think I've talked about Scorn at this point on this podcast, but Lindsley was our lead actress and executive producer, and probably a lot of other things. To be honest.
It was so the indie that you know how that goes.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that was an indie film we shot, directed by Jonathan Kirk, also produced by Dominic DiMaria and Alexander McPherson. And that was the second feature I'd ever shot out in Virginia.
Dude, I just gotta say though, I still can't believe that because you killed it.
Thank you. You too. And she used to call me California because I was the only person on the production from California.
It's like,
and now she lives in California.
Cali
I feel like that's
which
weird.
is awesome.
It's weird when you're on a set with just everybody not from LA.
I had never been to Virginia. It was I was like in a different universe.
How did you end up in Virginia?
Lived a different lifetime. Well, that's a perfect segue.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, this is
Why
How
did we
did you
shoot
get
Virginia?
Lindsley is here, guys. Let's talk to her.
Why did we shoot that in Virginia?
How the hell? Why are we in Virginia?
We're in Virginia because that's where I was born. That's where I grew up. And this movie was made with like basically just a few people that I knew. And I was like, let's make something. Let's like all flex in our departments. I like don't really feel like waiting to get cast in something to be on a set. So like, let's just do it right now. So yeah, like I guess if we're going into background, I grew up in Virginia. My parents are basically the most practical people you'd ever meet. Mm-hmm. My dad's a financial advisor. My mom is a teacher, and very like, Sunday school, modesty, savings plans, and just the whole package, essentially.
So being an actress is just like a cataclysm of like a daughter. Like
cannot
this.
compute.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely. So I did some acting in high school. It's kind of like you play sports in high school and you don't really think like, oh, I'm going to be a professional soccer player. Mm-hmm. I was just like, oh, this is fun. And then I went to school. I went to a university in Virginia where I wasn't there to study acting and ended up just doing plays in the department. Somebody found out I was in a high school play and I ended up there and had a really amazing mentor who basically just kind of talked to me about what it's like to be an actor if you're not a celebrity, like that there are still jobs that, it's not, you're either not an actor or you're an A-lister.
You don't have to be Meryl Streep necessarily.
Yeah, exactly.
There's this white picket fence middle ground where you can just have a life, a suburban life, and be a worker and be an employee.
Sure. So I was like, I really loved it so much and I connected with it so much and it affected so many other areas of my life in a really positive way that I just had perfect clarity, which I've only experienced, I think, twice in my life. But I had perfect clarity that this is what I just have to do this. It's almost like a determinism thing. Like, oh, well, this is just going to happen now. And so I dropped everything and really pissed off everyone. I didn't finish my degree. Well, I graduated, I got my degree, but like I didn't go to like my teaching practicum to get like become a teacher. And thankfully that was the semester that I booked House of Cards. So if I had been finishing that teaching practicum, I wouldn't have been on House of Cards.
Actually, wasn't your degree?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I got a degree in theater performance.
Oh,
So it was very like, it was very like Stanislavski based. I mean, like theater actors,
method and stuff, all that.
all the what?
Like method acting and stuff like that.
I learned about it.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's another
So back
conversation.
up.
for
So
another
back up
day.
for us. Back up for us. So you're in high school, right? And you're doing theater. Mm-hmm. It's great, but you're not necessarily like, I'm gonna go be an actress in Hollywood.
Oh no way.
That's not the intent at this point, right?
Yeah, and it felt so perfectly impossible.
Okay.
That like you don't think about it. I feel like you guys like growing up out here maybe. I mean, I guess I don't know where you
I'm
grew
from
up.
Wisconsin.
No, same.
Okay, then maybe you can relate. I feel like people that grew up
Yeah,
here.
yeah. Connor.
Fucking California.
It's like
over there.
maybe because you're around it and it's more casual. Everybody's been an extra.
You know what's funny?
everybody's-
So that's true in LA. I'm from Orange County, which is only like an hour and a half from LA, but it's a different world. You really don't get. I didn't know anyone in film at all. Really? No actors. Yeah, it sounds
it's
weird.
a bubble. It's a bubble. You meet people from Orange County and they've like never been to LA before. You know, like it's
a weird bubble.
a world.
The entertainment
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily.
That's surprising to me too.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily. I mean, I'm sure there's like rich producers that have a house out there now.
Absolutely.
That are, like half
totally.
retired,
Yeah.
but I didn't know anyone in film at all. It was also kind of weird. Everyone was like, "You want to do that?" Which sounds weird because I'm from Southern California.
Right.
But yeah, it's just like its own. It's not like LA in the sense of like everyone's like, my dentist is Jennifer Lawrence's dentist. Or, you know what I mean?
It
It's
really
not as
is
connected
like
as
some
LA.
string.
Right,
some
LA
distant-
County really is just like this thing,
Yeah.
this special exception, and all the other counties, even if they're close to LA, I mean, they're basically just like non-regional markets. Like it's like there's no film scenes there.
Yeah.
But it's like in my neck of the woods, you know how they lump the entire West Coast into LA.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I think that's what's a little.
It's probably not as crazy of a thought from like Virginia or Wisconsin,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's not quite as entertainment-y as LA, I guess.
So where were we
Yeah.
going with that? You were saying that.
I was saying that that it just never crossed my mind.
To be a professional like actress in Hollywood kind
Yeah.
of situation.
It definitely took somebody in that field coming to me and being like, "Hey, you should think about this," because I don't really think I would have had the gumption to otherwise. And okay, just to be honest, I was killing it. Like, I was getting all the roles that I wanted in college. I was having all this like affirmation. I was like, oh damn, like I think I could do this. Like,
Yeah.
like something I really hadn't experienced before in another field. And it just I feel like that perfect clarity moment happened and it was just done.
That's awesome.
So how'd you get Tell us about House
Yeah.
of Cards.
Yeah.
Because that's an awesome story.
Okay, that's another kind of like the stars aligned moment. Where, I think that casting director who cast me for House of Cards, or who was part of the casting process for House of Cards, she cast me in my very first commercial. So she kind of like knew who I was, and it was like this lottery commercial where like my mom's ex-boyfriend's sister was a producer and recognized me, and boom, I'm on this lottery commercial. Now this casting director knows me. And anyways, she gives me a shot for House of Cards. But the day that I had like 6 callbacks for this like 5-line.
Yeah, what was the role in House of Cards?
So I'm there just yelling in Kevin Spacey's face basically before he gets spoilers shot in
been
like
years, you're
season 4. So it was a really small role, but
Ruined it
it
for
was in a
me.
really memorble moment.
I haven't watched past season 3.
It's
God
a memorable
damn it.
moment. I remember that
Ruined
scene.
it.
I remember that. It's a pretty pivotal scene.
Yeah.
It's one of those crazy like episodes where, like, oh my god, he got shot.
Yeah, they're
you
like
know?
killing the main character.
I'm
What?
obligated to watch
Did
now.
it feel good to
Yeah.
yell at Kevin Spacey?
I was so fucking terrified the entire time I was there, and he was like being really mean to everyone and like
Oh,
losing
really?
his shit. So I
heard
was
he's an
just
asshole.
like kind of like I couldn't even like really go there. I kept like,
Dang.
you gotta resign, like, and I feel like
Yeah.
like Robin Wright was the director of the episode.
Wow. Damn.
Honestly,
That was my next thing. Did you have any?
Yeah.
I mean, Kevin Spacey being Kevin Spacey. Do you have any experience with him?
no, he was just like mean to me. Like I was a brand
Really?
I was a brand new actor. I did not know what and I'm from a theater background, so I know none of the terminology of a set. I show up to set in the 80s like who are you? And I'm like, I'm an actor. And he's like, okay.
Background's over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, are you
Fill this out.
He's like, are you first team? And I was like, oh no. And he's like, are you second team? And I'm like, no.
But you are first team.
He's like, go sit with the action.
Lindsley, why don't you explain the difference real quick?
So second team is stand-ins.
Yep.
And why did I just panic for a minute?
Yeah.
And first team is cast.
Yeah.
So
Such
For
a great
people that
Are you
don't
first
know-
team? Oh no, I'm not.
it sounded like so much gravity. I was like, I'm definitely not here to be on the first
Yeah,
team.
like-
For people that don't know,
How many teams are there?
Yeah. So
what do I do?
For people that don't know, like there's stand-ins. So basically, like Kevin Spacey is not when the set's trying to light for an hour before they start shooting. It's Kevin Spacey's not standing on his mark.
He sits
for an
in his
hour.
trailer.
Yeah.
For
There's
a
a guy
long
that's
while.
the same height,
He
same
can go hang out
skin
with boys and then other people
complexion.
over there,
Yeah. So it's temporary actors, I guess, stand-ins, never actually on camera.
So I'm on set now, just like chilling with I don't know how long I was in a stadium full of background actors, a stadium full, and I was there maybe a half hour.
Boy, you
45
actually
minutes.
you like sat in like the bullpen with like
Yeah, and I'm sitting there like, fuck. Like, I feel like I'm not supposed to like be here. Like, I was like supposed to be here 45 minutes ago. Like, who do I? They're gonna find me, right? Like,
man.
And so finally, somebody did come find me. They like found my like form that I filled out with the background, and they were like, "Are you here to play protester?" And I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "What are you doing?" Like, and then
so
I was
funny.
like, "Oh, a breakfast order and a honey wagon, which is essentially just like a teeny tiny little trailer for you to change in and feel important."
Yeah.
Did
It's
you
not,
use
it's not a
fancy?
Star trailer.
Did you use the toilet?
Star
Did it have a
Wagon.
toilet in it?
Oh no.
Oh, yours didn't have a toilet.
You know
in
the
it?
like 4 honey wagons, and then like you share the bathroom in the middle.
Oh,
and you
yeah.
hope
Oh,
not to
yeah.
have the one
Yeah.
that's adjacent to the bathroom.
You had the
Yeah.
one adjacent to
Here,
the
I had the one
bathroom.
adjacent
The
to the
condo.
bathroom.
So for anyone that doesn't know, a honey wagon is basically a large semi truck that's converted into wardrobe rooms. These wardrobe rooms are typically about 2 feet by 3.5 feet or so. They're pretty small. They usually have a bench, sometimes a toilet. If you're lucky, you know. You weren't lucky.
Versus the Star Wagon.
I don't know,
For,
but
like
Yeah.
for Kevin Spacey's got the Star Wagon where
Yeah.
it's basically an apartment on wheels.
Yeah,
you
but
know?
I don't. But
Yeah.
also, I don't know if you want the toilet in the honey wagon. That's I've always been torn about that. I was like, you know, I've line produced a lot of movies.
Oh,
and,
you don't
you
wanna
know,
be next to
I've
that.
seen, I've
Oh.
used these honey wagons dozens of times, and even the cleanest ones. It's like, do you want the shitter in
Oh,
your
man.
room?
No.
Do you want the
Oh,
shitter in your room?
Ugh.
Tell me now. Like,
I'm worried that like the headline of this, there's gonna be articles like Lindsley Register on Kevin Spacey breaks the silence on Kevin Spacey.
on how
just
can't wait
disastrous
for
it
TMZ
is
to
to
produce
use
that.
honey wagons.
Yeah.
He was so mean.
It'd be
No,
good
like,
press for us.
So that just basically gives you the baseline of like how fresh I was to this game. And I show up to set and we're doing like a rehearsal, and I'm like, okay, so we are gonna rehearse. I've had no experience on sets before. And I show up to the rehearsal, and like Kevin Spacey like cuts it, and he's like, somebody tell her to blah blah blah. I don't remember what
Dang,
it was.
right to you.
Wouldn't
Right?
talk to you.
Wow.
to
This
your
part,
face.
he's like, somebody tell her to come in on the end of my line or something.
Now that's some fucking set etiquette right there.
and I was just like,
Tell off the other actor right in front
How
of their
scary
face
was that?
what's
Yeah,
wrong.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah.
It was really
So
scary. I
green.
was like, fuck, I'm fired. They're gonna pull somebody else in here to save. Anyways, but it all worked out. I watched him, chew out some unsuspecting background for sitting too close to his chair and
Oh, that's amazing. That's
You
always a
know.
good time.
that kind of stuff. I had met him in person 1 year prior to working on this role.
Oh, really?
And took a picture with him. Yeah, he came to UVA.
Oh.
In
Was he
Virginia.
nice then?
Oh yeah, it was all you got to
course
send
he
the
was.
ladder back down to give opportunity to people, and
You gotta be humble, you know.
gotta be humble, give back,
Be nice to everyone
And
on
I was
set.
like-
Don't yell at anyone.
Right. But yeah,
It's interesting about the because I hear so many actors tell me about like you kind of live, especially when you're starting out, you live or die by the casting directors.
yeah.
If a casting director likes you, you can get those jobs,
Mhm.
and then if they hate you, they remember you.
Right, and if you find somebody
Damn.
good, they can just
they are
spoon feed 'em
really
to
the
you.
gatekeepers. I feel like to like actors, it seems like
The big stuff. yeah.
basically, I mean, it's so rare that like a director just likes you. Okay, but
if you're not established, yeah,
right, and like wants to bring you onto their project. That's
Right.
rare.
It happens
Right.
in a blue moon, but
yeah, sure. Okay, I do have like a situation though where I really pissed off a casting director, and the director thought my tape was so like it was one of my.
He pulled rank on her.
Yeah,
him
he
or her?
did. He did.
Interesting.
So like
awesome.
I think it was my first feature film out of college, and at this point, I'm just gonna say it, I was doing like religious like family films, a lot of them.
So you've been on House of Cards at this point, right? Like, where's the timeline?
No. Okay, so we're jumping back a little bit. Like
Okay.
I'm like, it's like the summer after college.
Okay.
And and I'm like, I'm playing this like drunk girl at a party, and it's a comedy, and I was like, I'm just gonna make this like crazy choice to like let out a blood curdling scream on my entrance as if I'm like truly terrified by like it made sense to me. It made sense within the script. I like wasn't going rogue, but I knew it was gonna be like a big choice, and so like I did it in the casting room. I just let out this like horrifying shrill, and they were personally and deeply offended. They were like, we're gonna let you do that again, but this time do not scream. And I was like, all
Sound
right.
like I hated you, by the way.
Serious.
And I knew I was dead. I knew I was dead to them. But then like the director saw my tape and they cast me in the film. He said he thought it was the funniest thing ever.
That's awesome.
Damn.
So
They probably felt like, damn,
For
like
a role like that, dude,
this
it's like have
chick.
fun with it.
This
you know?
chick.
right, you gotta
Yeah.
like for that role. It felt like don't take yourself too seriously. Be loose. Try
Yeah.
You gotta
something
stand out
interesting.
somehow.
Yeah, try something.
Well, sometimes just
Yeah.
being able to like walk, like showing a director or a producer or casting director that you can walk into a room and literally like not give a shit about your dignity and just
Yes.
be like whatever it is, whatever the hell it is that you interpreted you needed to be. Sometimes
Yes.
that's the more important challenge of walking into the casting room.
That is so true. We have too many self-conscious actors. Like too many people that are like getting so fearful that they're like making no choices and like shrinking into themselves, and they barely like want to be heard because like because you're like letting the pressure get to you.
Like you should almost like dive into, if you have a character available, like be the character as appropriate, you know, like
That like fail boldly thing.
Yeah.
Like
How
don't
do
do nothing.
How do you? I'm not an actor at all by any means, but like to me in my head, pretending to be drunk seems so difficult, and also like pretending that like fake laughing and stuff. That just seems
Yeah.
so.
yeah,
Okay.
Is
fake,
that-
fake laughing.
I would
think
have to
is
go
people
rough.
know
method.
when
I
I'm
would have to
fake
go
laughing.
method and start like drinking my trailer.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one way.
That's how you do it, dude.
But for like for fake laughing, you just have to like, you just go like 1000% and you just trust that it's going to be there when you need it. You just like
man.
come open your mouth and let a ton of air out. And like, if you like do not hesitate, it will come.
There's so much
Oh,
confidence in
God.
yourself in that statement that like, damn, you better have it. Like,
Wait, but what was the other one?
Being
Fake
drunk.
laughing and being
And fake
Fake
drunk.
drunk.
They tell you, so this is an actor tip. You don't play drunk. You play somebody who's trying not to be drunk. So it's like, because when
that
you're
makes
drunk,
sense.
Oh
Yeah.
yes,
you have
You're
to
trying to
never
be like,
looked
I'm
drunker.
sober.
yeah, and so you're gonna try it like a little extra hard to like make sure the walk is like
Yeah.
and like you've like still got it. You know what I mean?
That's
You-
interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
I've never looked drunker than trying
This
to be
podcast is
sober.
free.
That's the
You
one.
acted.
Precisely.
Yeah.
okay,
Precisely.
so House of Cards. House of Cards. Kevin Spacey's a dick. Let's fast forward. What? So was ultimately the House of Cards experience positive?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I was like, yeah, I was overwhelmed with how lucky I felt to be there. It felt very, very, very surreal. After those moments, you're like, fuck, I should have done this. I should have done that. I should have gone further. Oh, I was so scared. I let it get to me. But it was purely positive.
It was a one-line role, right? It was just like a couple lines.
It was a 4.5. Okay.
Was it?
No,
Have some-
I
put
think it
some
was
respect,
like, I think
dude.
it was
Come on.
4. I don't know, but I really
Okay,
don't know.
no. I haven't seen it in a long time.
What was your biggest shocker, like getting on that set, like a big, because that was for sure your first big studio set, right?
Yeah.
I mean, because you were hanging out with background for 45 minutes, so.
I like, yeah. I think the biggest shocker, is that what you said?
Yeah, like what surprised you the most, like moving from like indie to studio, and like what was like the damn, like that's how that works, like.
I think that this was the biggest thing I noticed was that like people were so strict about doing their own jobs
Mm-hmm.
that
Oh,
like
yeah.
I was
Union
very used to being on
violations.
indie. I'm like, oh, here, I'll grab it. Oh,
Yep.
oh,
Let me help you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I got like very quickly like, don't do any of that. Just stand there.
You're an
Like,
act.
Yeah.
You're an actress.
Don't-
Stay
Yeah,
in your
you-
lane.
Yeah.
Yeah,
do not
very
help
like
me.
stay in your lane. And I think I saw how efficient it was though, like how efficiently that worked, knowing that that's going to get done because that's that person's thing, and I'm not going to it'll work well if we all do what we do best. That was a big shocker. And I think just for anybody moving into that position, it's pretty wild when people start treating you that way. Just of like letting you finish your sentences and really the pampering and the protecting.
Oh,
Yeah.
Felt
I'm
like
sure.
very
the AD team and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we got a cooling tent, and just all the babying.
You need water?
Yeah. Yeah.
And coming
all
from an
that.
indie set when you're shooting in December in Ohio and you're freezing your ass off and you're just like I'm doing it for the art, and then you're on a set and they're like, we have this heating tent, and you're looking at the grips freezing their asses off in the cold, and it's like, we have this heating tent for first team, and you're just like, this is wrong. This is so wrong.
I always think of ADs bringing talent. They're like, make way, talent coming through. I'm like, we're not even in the fucking way. What are you talking about? Like, come on.
It feels so pandering to me, honestly. I want to be treated well, but and I to a degree I get it, because it's you're trying to protect their emotional state, or you really don't.
Yeah.
But I also hate that they have that power on set. I do not think that's right.
Do you do you really need to be like that? Do you really need to hold a production hostage with your emotional fragility? Right. And again, with no disrespect to the actors that do that regularly, but dude, there's nothing that grinds me wrong as a producer when I'm watching an actor or an actress I cast literally. I mean, for lack of a better word, piss away my money, because they think they have these demands, and it's do you see what the people around you are doing? And I'm not saying that it's it's not a different job. I understand that, but it's we're supposed to be a team. We're supposed to be all on the same team. So when I cast you as an actor or an actress, I'm putting you on my roster. I'm
Especially
putting you
for
on
indie stuff.
Yeah.
I feel as an actor, you gotta let yourself be pampered on a huge thing on a Michael Bay movie. But if you're gonna sign on to an indie film, it's you gotta
know what you're getting into.
Give leeway to the production. You know what I mean?
And it's at some point it's isn't it about the art for you too?
Yeah.
Or is this about you?
So so shouldn't it be about pushing the art of the project forward? Whoever the visionary is, whoever I just can't I can't get off about that enough about you can always tell when a talent, a team of talent, is more involved than just being pushed to set by the AD team. You can tell when they were before this shot talking to the DP and talking to the director and really getting into the weeds of how do we make this scene work? How do we exponentialize the production value? You know what? Let me make a suggestion. Let's make it cooler. What if I trip here and I crawl and push myself up, and it's oh great. I would have never thought of that. There's always this level of collaboration, and you can, I feel always tell when actors are involved with that, because they're the ones portraying it. They're being a crew member, but they're on camera.
Right.
And it's this weird sense of camaraderie.
So post House of Cards, what was the next thing for you? What was
So
the journey?
I think I was working on another family Christian movie at the time. It was a horse girl movie.
Oh, amazing.
So these movies, for people that don't know,
horse girl
for people that
movie.
don't know, it's because of where you grew up in Virginia. A lot of those jobs,
Yeah. So
Hallmark, Lifetime kind of movie.
but a very religious area.
very religious area.
Yeah.
And there's actually, little did you guys know, there's a thriving Christian film community
Yeah.
in Virginia.
I've heard about him. I know about him.
Oh, so okay. I went to the school where Kirk Cameron, he gave a ton of money to our film program.
He's
Excellent.
the best.
That's a help.
And you guys,
makes
He
the
is
best
the
movies.
best.
I want you to know I'm being very vulnerable. by
His Christmas
sharing
movie.
this with you.
Have you guys seen his Christmas movie?
Yes.
It's one of the
What is it
best horse
called?
movies ever. I
What is it
forget the
called?
name of it. I forget the name of it.
Saving Christmas.
Saving Christmas.
after left,
That sounds good.
after Left
Just by
Behind,
the
man,
name
it
of
was
it.
done.
we
It
should
was
do
done.
we should do a watch along
You
about
should.
that. That would be fun.
It was done.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I'm in.
Okay, so-
Sorry.
thriving Christian
Yeah.
community in Virginia.
Right,
Kirk
right.
Cameron.
Kirk Cameron. That's my background. I'm on this horse film, and
You said you're a horse girl on the movie?
A horse girl film.
we're
yeah.
all these bad girls who go to this horse therapy school. Anyways, it was really, I just tuned out from how I felt about the project, and really tuned in to like how enjoyable it was for me to just like ride horses. So
Were you a diva? You're like, I've been on House of Cards, and were you just pulling that?
No,
You went Kevin Spacey
You know-
on
you
him,
know
started
that-
yelling at him.
You know that you walked over to Second Team's 10. You were like, so last week when I was working with Kevin Spacey.
What a dick. Let me
Yeah,
tell you.
like crazy experience with Kevin Spacey. You guys know the guy, right? American Beauty, actor, A-list, Kevin
You
Spacey,
start yelling in
right?
the background. This guy's sitting too close to me.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
fucking team are you on? I'm on first. Okay,
Yeah.
get out of here.
So I'm there, and I booked this show called Six, and it was like I think like that night I was staying at a friend of a friend of a friend's house because it's an ultra low budget, and I'm like filming with shitty. My phone, I don't know why the quality was so shitty. I like borrowed this guy's shirt to like wear in the audition, and I had my sister reading on Skype, reading the lines with me, so I didn't even have anybody to do the tape with. But I ended up booking that show, and I did 2 seasons of that. One of them was in Wilmington, North Carolina, which is an adorable little surf town, and then the other one we moved to Vancouver, which was really fun.
Is this a Christian TV show?
No, we are done. I think
more horse
now.
films.
Six
moved-
on
we moved
History
past
Channel,
that.
starring Walton Goggins.
Yeah,
actually.
Walton Goggins. So.
He was amazing.
Boom. Name drop.
He is amazing.
I just rewatched. Sorry, tangent. Have you guys watched The Shield?
no.
With Michael Chiklis.
That was like his first with Michael Chiklis, and that was like his first thing. He is so good on that show. He plays like a dirty cop. He's amazing.
I need to see that.
It's
I
great.
love him. I love his work.
It's so
and
good.
he's one of those actors that's like, I'm here, like let's make it great. Like let's
Oh, really?
let's push ourselves. Yeah, let's stay focused. Like
Awesome.
I love him.
That's amazing.
But yeah, so I did 2 seasons of that, and the second one was in Vancouver, which was amazing. And
What was it like shooting in Canada versus America? Because I think that's like an important distinction.
well, there was new like set terminology that I
Was there a lot? Was it like mostly like
Yeah,
pretty
what's
much
what was a
across the
big
board
one?
new?
there was several things that were different, and they were like really quick to pick up. Like for instance, they call like base camp, they call it circus.
That's great.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
great. That's
Oh,
good.
they have another word for martini. I care. Oh, it's a hockey player. It's a Canadian hockey player, and I'm not going to remember who he was. But they say that instead of martini because apparently, yeah, I don't remember.
All
the
right,
story.
Weird.
some kind of cultural reference.
Yeah.
Wayne Gretzky, like the Gretzky or something.
Gretzky.
It could be. Oh, it could be. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, there's more than Wayne Gretzky that has played
The
hockey.
focus pullers
That's
are
it. Canada,
the focus
right?
pullers are pulling in metrics, not
Right.
feet.
How
you
many
know?
centimeters are
Yeah.
there from me?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, but I will say that like one of the most amazing parts about that season was Kimberly Pierce directed. She did Boys Don't Cry.
Okay.
She's amazing. We like everybody like we shot really long days. Like really long days. Like I think one of the days ended up hitting at 16 hours.
Wow.
Which
Nice.
Been there.
you know, History
right.
Oh yeah.
History Channel was not happy
I
about.
can't
I'm
imagine.
And
sure.
so like
And by the way, 20 hours for crew.
Yeah.
for some crew.
Exactly.
PAs, right
Yeah.
now. PAs have been there since hour 22 at
Some
this
crew
point.
blended
you
those
know?
days together. They
Yeah.
didn't go home.
There was no separation.
funny.
Yeah, like but her work, like she did the finale of season 1, and it was so beautiful that everybody just forgave how ungodly it was to pay everyone to work the kind of hours. But like that was I got to work with her, which was a dream come
That's
true.
amazing. So you did
Yeah.
both seasons. You started the show off.
Yeah, and that was so different. I'm sure we'll talk about Walking Dead in a minute, but
Yeah.
it was so cool on 6 getting to come in on the first episode of a brand new show because it's like
Yeah.
you're like showing up at summer camp for the first time, so nobody knows each other, so equal playing
that's
field.
fun.
You get to really define your relationship to the show, and everybody's, you know, you're getting to find a stride together, which was one of the things I preferred about being on 6 to Walking Dead.
I've heard from a lot of actor friends that it can sometimes be hard to kind of come into an established show, especially if it's a popular show.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of like, you know, everyone has their cliques already, but also people have like egos and stuff. And
Yeah.
I mean, unless
Yeah.
you have a actor friend that's going to kind of bring you into the fold, I've heard that can be difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was like a little bit of that on Walking Dead. I think when did I book? I booked Walking Dead in between season 1 and 2, I think.
You did 6 before Walking Dead?
Did I? Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I did. Yep.
I believe you. For some reason in my head, I thought you were already on Walking Dead.
My memories, I'm always like losing my memories.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did 6 first, and it's honestly kind of unclear to me. I started in season 7, which now they're on 10, so it was 4 years ago, so 2016.
Damn, I can't believe 10.
I know.
10 years?
That's
10
insane.
years?
10 years.
TWD?
Yeah.
10 seasons.
Yep.
2 spin-off shows. 3 movies are coming out.
That's wild.
They did spin-off shows before the show ended.
I know.
I know,
I remember
that's
that. Yeah,
wild.
that's crazy.
So there are 3
Yeah.
Walking Dead shows now.
Yep.
Like, it's
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot.
Okay, so we're on 6. Like, historically, we're on 6.
It is on History Channel,
What happens,
so it is historically.
What happens next?
So I booked
Good.
Walking Dead at some point, because I remember there was like one point where I was like working on both at the same time, which was difficult.
Were you flying back and forth, like Vancouver to Georgia?
Okay, well, yes, but not as much as you think, because my character mysteriously goes missing for a long time in like season 8. Like she like runs off into the woods
In Walking?
in Walking Dead,
Yeah.
and they like can't find me, and everybody's like wondering where I am because I have this like really important news to deliver,
And you're shooting 6.
and I'm shooting 6.
That's
was
that's
that
where you
so? That
were.
was like
That's
schedule
actually,
thing. They wrote that in because of scheduling.
I can't say for sure.
Maybe it just worked.
Damn.
Maybe
It did work well with the script, but it was also like perfect timing because I literally finished 6 to come and finish Walking Dead.
And what was your character name for people that may not
Um,
know?
So I played Laura, the neck tattoo savior.
Yep.
Is how
Neck
she's known.
We had a
a
joke.
descriptor.
Peter and I had a joke
Yeah.
before you came out. I was like, should we just like Sharpie the neck
Yeah.
tattoo?
I
on
have
our-
tattoos.
We were gonna all dress as you.
I
for
have
this.
tattoos. I have my characters.
Oh, you do?
With you?
Damn, I
Oh,
should. I
you
didn't
should.
bring them.
We'll have you back on, and then you
Yeah,
should
I bring them to
those.
Comic
Next time we'll
Cons
get
and like
tatted
give them
up.
to people. People really like them at the Comic Cons.
I want to get into that later.
Do
I
you-
definitely want to get into
Damn.
the fandom behind your characters.
So how did you come to book Walking Dead? Because I think like there will be definitely like aspiring actors and actors listening to this. Like
Right.
how did you make that happen?
Basically, I am at this moment in time when I book Walking Dead, I am represented by a really boutique agent in the Southeast. Basically, if you can talk to the camera with ease, or if you can like reasonably read a commercial script, you can get an agent in the Southeast. It's very
Okay.
easy. So I'm represented by her. And one of the amazing things about being an actor in the Southeast is that basically as an actor, you're in the bargain bin. So all these productions are in Atlanta, and they all you can't afford for every single actor to be from LA. It's just too much, and per diem,
For
flights,
travel.
travel. God, it's
Yeah.
it's expensive.
You're guaranteed to get like a local spot somewhere, kind of thing.
Yeah. So they started hiring more and more and more just to save money, people from the Southeast, and
I've heard that's true with crews also.
with crews also.
They kind of
yes.
flock to the
Not-
big
Not Keys, but
Atlanta
but
and-
below the
Yeah.
Keys.
yeah. Just for like
Yeah.
paid. You can get on big. I've heard that with like Vancouver and stuff too. You can kind of
Yep.
get on
Yeah.
the big because also those towns only the big jobs. There's not a lot of the small jobs that come into town from what I've heard. So it's like there's only the big like
Yeah, I've had crew from North
Big
Carolina that I
TV.
know. They're like, yeah, we go down there.
Marvel movie shoot, and you just kind of can hop on a Marvel. So anyway, sorry.
Yeah, so it's like it's really a ripe opportunity for somebody to just like need somebody, and then you can like be there. And so I accredit to starting in the Southeast a lot of the reason why I was able to like slip in all these things really easily. Boom, now you have a resume doing a few co-stars, and that looks amazing, or a series regular, and it really primes you to like come out here. Like whenever I meet struggling actors out here, I'm just like, leave, go to Atlanta.
Yeah.
Because it's just much easier to build a resume that way. So I accredit that to a lot of the reasons why I started booking early. And the booking process was really just like me wherever I was, in a motel, in my parents' house, like traveling in my apartment, whatever, setting up my iPhone with a ring light, or sometimes like finagling a setup and then doing a self-tape with a reader.
So yeah,
Sending that
can
in.
you like unpack that and demystify that for like the audience? Like you got onto The Walking Dead
Yeah.
from a self-tape that you very likely did in a motel
Yeah.
from your iPhone and a ring light.
Yeah, and like no callback. They never even saw me from the neck down
Wow.
when I like showed up to work.
All right, world, you hear that?
Yeah.
You hear how like ridiculous this business and this industry works? You got
Yeah.
a job as a season regular on The Walking Dead from an iPhone clip light interview in a motel.
And real quick, can you talk about how, because I think this might be important to touch on, is like how like prevalent self-taping is now with actors.
Yeah.
And kind of explaining what that is.
Yeah. It's wild, right? Because I mean, just we see this happening. Like everything is going digital. Like why on earth would you want to bring in like 25 overeager actors to your office when you could just like
For an audition,
yeah.
They might walk in and scream. You never know what's going to happen.
No, fuck that.
Flip the camera around on your phone,
And you have to rent a
seconds.
space.
Yes, and
yeah.
send me the scene, and like that's it. Like
So it's just like basically you film yourself auditioning and just like send it in.
Well, I mean, I
Yeah.
think
And,
that kind of goes a lot to say that they're like almost looking for personality. Like it feels
Yeah.
like casting directors, you know. And again, I am a director, you know. I guess I could speak like from the one doing it, but you know, it definitely is. I mean, I would be casting based off of personality if someone's sending me a video, and you know, it's not about like doing it the best. It's just about doing it the right way for you.
And I'm curious, like, because I've heard from other actors that the self-tape thing is kind of you end up like doing more auditions and then just throwing these self-tapes out and with maybe even like a lesser chance of getting something, or you just kind of, it's more like a quantity over quality audition wise.
That is
and
how
the pros
I feel.
and cons of that. Yeah,
that is how I feel. And I heard a casting director say one time, she was like, I need to see 3 self-tapes of you to remember you. I only need to see you in my office in person once to remember you. So
and for you that's 3 times as much work.
right.
You know?
Right, exactly. And so there's pros and cons, right? Because going into the office, like I'm nervous, I'm a little shaky. Now I get to see all the other famous people that are, oh fuck.
You have to drive across LA.
Drive across
in
LA.
traffic.
Don't get in an accident on the way there. Pay for parking.
Yeah,
like
pay for-
don't be sweating.
Spend an hour driving to pay
$1 an hour.
$28 for parking, so you can run in for 7 minutes and come back to your
Yeah.
car
Yeah.
and rationalize that $30 you spent on parking.
But that personal exchange to me makes it worth it. Like if I have the option of self-tape or go in, I'll always go in, although I only go in like maybe 6 times a year.
Yeah.
Maybe. And sometimes it's just for a meet and greet.
Because
Like-
self-tapes are so prevalent, right?
So self-taping I do, 10 a month,
right.
like, or more.
Yeah.
Right.
You
But
just spit them out, right?
and and you get to be like intimate. You get to really like set the stage. You know, I can play the music I want to play. I can be really calm. I can send in my perfect take.
Yeah, you can do it
You
a
know,
million times
Yeah.
over.
I can do it a million times. That's awesome.
Do you find do you find you lose like I've never auditioned, but like getting notes or feedback, like, can you do this again, but you know, maybe do it a little more.
Yes,
you know?
and I will say this, like, I feel like the real way to like the way to actually book something is not to give them a perfect or even a fantastic take, but it's to show them that when they tell you a note, you know how to change your performance based off of the note.
Be able to take a note, yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
because even if
Yeah.
it's a perfect take, it's like if you are not able to be directed at all, if you are entirely like inflexible, you don't even know how to change your performance, then it's like
You need to be
it's
malleable.
past.
You're gonna
be hard to
You've
work
got to
with.
be malleable.
Yeah.
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 So I feel like note taking is like the golden ticket. to,
Oh
like-
yeah, I mean, I'm sure Michael can speak on that as far as
Yeah.
like that's what you want as a director.
Yeah, I mean, I've often in like, you know, castings just given actors just really wild notes that are just completely like counterintuitive to the character, just to see how they take the basis of how they understand the character, and then, you know, for like the director who created this character to give them a note and try to basically comprehend, like, the character created, you know, or the director created this character, but now he's giving me this note. Like, what does that mean for this character? And being able to like comprehend, it's like a math equation. You know, it's not like this very simple like, oh, I would just be happy. Like, maybe that character wouldn't be happy.
Yeah.
You know, like when somebody else would react differently. I don't know. I mean, maybe Lindsley can speak more to that.
Yeah. Well, now I'm like, oh, this is getting
I
very
set you.
meta.
I set you up there. Well, okay. So Walking Dead. We're on
Yeah,
the
you
set-
self-taped.
Yeah,
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 exactly.
We
Those
went
that
off
was
on
a
a
huge
tangent.
tangent.
Crazy tangent here, and we want to get back to Walking Dead. Walking Dead.
Oh,
we're,
yeah.
We're on set. You get Walking Dead from a self-tape in a motel. Now stage 2. What happens next? Tell us. You know, you have never been on a series regular at this point on a show like Walking Dead.
But before
right?
that, actually, did you know about this show? Like, were you a fan of this show before you got on? Was it like The gravity of the thing set in?
I didn't know how big it really was. I knew
Okay.
of it in college when I did this theater project with these guys, and they were like, "Oh, we want to do like a Walking Dead Macbeth." And I was like, "Oh my god." I thought it was like
A
super
zombie Macbeth.
What the fuck
Yeah.
is that?
I thought it was like super like nerdy and that like I wouldn't be into it. I was like, zombies don't interest me at all. And then Xander actually was like, no, you've got to give this show a chance. Like, it's amazing. And I watched the
Who is
pilot.
Xander for
I'm sorry,
context?
Xander and I go way back. Like, he played Liam in the movie Scorn.
Yep.
Which we'll get to.
which
But
we'll
He
get to.
co-starred and co-produced. Yeah. Yep.
So because of him, I watched the show. I thought it was incredible. And pretty soon after that, I booked it. So I knew it was like a great show that I liked to watch. But like I show up and like this time I know I'm fucking first team. So, but
you didn't
like,
hang out with the zombies on this one?
No.
Okay, that's good. That's probably good.
But like, you know, I get a call from my agent. Oh, they really like you. They're sending you a deal and blah blah blah. But you have to like be there tomorrow. And like I'm living in Virginia at the time, and so this is how like fast they were making these decisions.
That's pretty normal, by the way.
Oh,
Just for anyone listening in, that's pretty like you wouldn't believe how many offers go out on Sunday night for Monday morning.
It's
and how
unreal.
often that happens.
Yeah, and I'm like showing up, and because this show is so secretive, it's my first season, and I'm a co-star, so I only get the pages where I am speaking.
Ooh.
That is it. And so like you're
So
showing,
like they blackline all the other
it's not even.
stuff.
You just don't even get them, right?
Yeah.
You don't even get them.
Yeah.
So I get page 2, 4, and
7 through
20.
9 and whatever
Yeah.
else you're on.
And you get no context
For
at
people
all either?
for people
like,
that don't know, like that's common with like big like Marvel movies
Right.
or like I've heard that's
super
I've heard it's common with like Christopher Nolan movies and
Or
like
even
Woody
commercials,
Allen
some, too.
movies. It's like they don't want. Basically, it's really common for like scripts to get leaked.
Yeah, like studio
Right.
art house.
You know?
Like studio art house are really, really big studio.
Yeah.
But like my background was I was a theatrical actor first, which it's like, you know, I memorized, I've studied the script, I've really given a lot of like consideration. It's like building like who my character is. All these things are really important to my process. And so I was kind of annoyed at first because it felt so counterintuitive to like just say this line. It didn't
Yeah.
feel like good acting to me.
Because you didn't understand why you were saying it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I don't have context for the world.
What's
And-
my motivation?
Yeah, please.
But actually.
No, but that's like a real fair point.
Actually.
So our current showrunner, Angela Kang, she was I think, forgive me if I'm wrong, but she was an executive producer, a producer at the time. She also co-writes sometimes. I like somebody went and told her that I really needed information about what we're doing, and she was amazing and totally understood and just like verbally filled me in on everything. Here's where we're coming from. This is the moment now. This is how it's going to relate to things later, blah blah blah. So that was helpful, but it took me 2 seasons before I started getting the scripts, which, you know, everybody gripes about.
Wow.
Then you were
Yeah.
in the fold. Then they
So
knew.
question
And for
so,
FYI, 2 seasons is like what? That's like 2 years of or what? Probably a year of shooting, year and a half of shooting.
2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So going to like the not wanting more information from the scripts, did you find it was hard also because you weren't even getting full scripts to kind of, because at that point The Walking Dead had a total like universe around it, like
Yeah.
so many back storylines that I'm sure were tying to current episodes. So, like, did you find that was hard to like just wrap your head around like what the universe of the show was?
I think like I probably learned more in hindsight about how much it all really meant.
Yeah.
I think at the time I was just getting like thrown into it so quickly. So for at least that first season,
Yeah.
I don't think I really understood. And then when I went to Comic-Cons, it was, oh my God, wow, the fan base and
Yeah.
goodness gracious. But I mean, this guy's handing me a gun and I'm like, I've never like shot a gun, and we're like about to roll and I'm supposed to look like I've always used this gun.
Yeah.
And so stuff like that was happening. And so it was very stressful. And I did know that it was, you know, this giant show
Yeah.
that I was like super lucky to be a part of. So
Of
there,
course.
Well, I think that's interesting right there is because it's like that's a major studio, like major finance set. And it's like, you know, it more or less sounds just like your run-of-the-mill indie set, you know,
Yeah.
just like, actors in retrospect being like, I had no idea what the hell I was doing, and I was just trying to fumble my way, and the director being like, man, it was crazy. We had no idea that it was even going to work. I was just basically like rolling with the sun, gave her a gun, we're rolling, you know,
Right.
like, and it feels like that's kind of just a story you'd hear on just like a low budget picture, and it's not like you got all the time and money in the world to just piss away and shoot.
Mo money, mo problems.
Yeah.
It's never better. It's just with more money and more fires to put out, you know.
Yeah.
Everyone's always running around with their heads cut off
Yeah.
on film shoots.
Yeah.
So I want to hear your so you're talking about like the fandom. I'm curious to hear like just tell us about like the crazy like Comic-Con fandom and like all the people cosplaying as you and stuff.
It's really something.
Yeah.
Like it when it first started happening, it felt like, when I say happening, like going home at Christmas and like people like at my mall like recognizing me and stuff.
Oh wow.
Stuff like that.
In Virginia?
Yeah.
Weird.
At the
Weird.
mall where I grew up,
That is
you know. It felt weird, and like it feels like really self-conscious. I feel like really self-conscious sometimes about it because then like you have this intense imposter syndrome, you know, like this like person to like live up to, like, oh, you're like an actor on like The Walking Dead on AMC, and
People are analyzing if you're like an asshole to them.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we'll write blogs about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet. I can imagine.
and like you know what got even like, oh, maybe
Go for it.
for later. Well, okay.
No, it's, yeah,
for
do
it.
tell.
Go
I'm
for
it.
sure it got weird.
Like working here in LA
Uh-huh.
at an ice cream shop, and the people that would come in and be like,
Oh no.
oh, I've always wanted to ask, aren't you Laura on The Walking Dead? And I'd be like, most of the time
Did you
I
ever
say
say no?
And you feel-
Oh, okay. I was
You
the
felt like
same,
self-conscious that you're working at ice cream shop or whatever.
yeah, and I'm like,
Yeah.
so like, do you want any sprinkles?
But,
Like,
but that's what
Yeah.
acting is. That's
Aren't
what
you a
acting
millionaire?
is.
You're on a show.
Yeah,
like-
that there is like
Yeah.
a bit of an impression
yeah.
there that like, oh, well, you're set now.
Mhm.
No, I'm not set.
yeah, it's not like that.
I'm moving into a different age range, like I'm moving into a new like geographical area where I'm being cast by like new casting directors.
Mhm.
I'm not set. I'm just doing what I've always done.
Yeah.
It's just like, you know,
The
hustle. and-
mysticism of film. Everyone's like, "Oh yeah, you're a millionaire."
If you're on TV,
in it,
everyone
you're-
assumes
you
you're a
made it.
millionaire.
Yeah,
Like
boom.
it's not the 90s anymore.
Yeah.
Like, you
But-
know.
But like, okay, real talk. People who want to act like they're not affected by like having fans, it's
It's pretty cool though.
that's
also.
bullshit. It's really
is it
like
cool?
It's a pick me up
So,
sometimes.
yeah, it goes.
Is it cool?
Goes to your
Yeah.
head just a little bit.
It's
you think?
validation.
It feels. I mean, it feels good. Like,
I mean, yeah, it's
I
like
hope- I
being
hope I
the
get some
popular
fans off
kid.
this podcast.
It's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
So when Lindsley, when did you
Follow
go to
me on
like your
Instagram.
first like what was your first like fandom event post Walking Dead or like current like still working the show and like going to do some publicity event where you had people wooing on you or whatnot? Like what was like the first like big like wow, this is crazy, this is weird, like because I mean like you seem like very like small town in the sense that like it's not like you grew up in Hollywood, like you
Yeah.
didn't grow up with all the glitz and the cameras and stuff, and it's not even like LA actually is that, but there is like this culture to it, so it's like it's always interesting to hear someone's perspective, to be like getting in these positions of like wow, like people are looking at me, people are like taking my picture, people care who I am, people want to know my name, people want to be me, like that weird kind of position. Like, well, what was that first event like for you?
I started experiencing it before Comic-Cons and like, when you just start getting like floods of DMs, for instance.
Okay.
And it felt really exciting. It felt like, oh, I hope this helps my career later, Like I was kind of torn between to be honest, I felt like torn between like feeling bad for these people that are so obsessed with the show
Yeah.
and like
I can see that. Yeah.
and being like really like grateful to them because like they create I
Because
think
you're just a normal person.
They lift the
And-
show up.
yeah, I mean
Yeah.
it's like totally like my entire career is like propped up on their backs,
Yeah.
Yep.
They like cosplay Laura and they like do fan art and stuff like that. I mean, it's amazing. But like part of me also like I don't know, has a hard time relating to even enjoying a show that much.
Okay.
So I
Yeah.
always felt torn there and I felt like nervous about going to Comic-Cons. And if I can just say one more thing about the last thing, it makes sense to me. It started making sense to me when I started meeting the fans and hearing about how they related to the show and like what it meant to them.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, damn, I of course I like being a part of that.
Yeah.
Maybe help them through a tough time or something.
I mean, some of them,
Yeah.
it's like really an emotional connection. Like you can laugh, and it's because it's like a zombie show, but like, like some of them, it's like it's their escape from you know, regular normal ass life.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
do you have any fan stories? Do you anything specific as like this helped me through this, or like any kind of? Do you have anything off the top of your head, maybe?
Well, when I started meeting the fans, like, so my first Comic-Con was Chicago, and so because of my like, I feel like nervous about the imposter syndrome and the like, I don't know how to relate to fans and having fans and stuff. Like, I didn't go to Comic-Cons for a really long time, but I finally did. I think after my 3rd year on the show, I went to Chicago Walker Stalker, and I started meeting people, and like everybody was just like wanting to come up to me and like tell me their, like, you're all like standing at these tables, and like people were just like wanting to like tell me their stories. Like, hey, my name's so and so. You know, I had cancer last year. And I'm like, what? And people are just like sharing with me all of this like shit that they've gone through, and
that's interesting because like they feel like they know you.
Yes,
that's what the weird. The thing with media and like actors is like you feel like you know someone, which is kind of interesting.
And especially as being a creator or a participant in the creation, like there's this kind of like separative value that you feel like, I did this thing, nobody knows about it, and then when like people, even if it's something that you know people know about, it's like you don't expect that so many people might know about it, and that like that you might be as widespread as you are.
Yeah, they were really amazing people, and they were really loving, and most of them just wanted to like share something really personal with me, which I just, you know, received, and hugging a lot. And like people would bring gifts. They'd bring me like necklaces and fan art or poems or
that's great.
Songs.
That's really cool.
Yeah, that's wild.
There's this one amazing gal in Germany who like cosplays as me, and her girlfriend cosplay as me and Austin Emilio. I forget his character's name. Burn face guy. But yeah, I mean, I love that she's made such an impact.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so you were on the show for 4 seasons?
Yeah.
So what happened with that?
Well,
Spoiler.
oh yeah, spoiler. Yeah.
Wait, every character on that show at some point.
I got killed.
You
Womp
got killed by a zombie?
No, by did you guys watch Remember the Titans?
Yeah.
It's like one of my favorite films of all time. I've watched it a million times. Ryan Hurst, he plays he's the main like white guy, the white football player. He's like always
He
butting
kills
his.
you?
Gotcha.
So he's on the show now, and he's like 6'4".
I thought you were going to say Denzel Washington killed me.
Yeah, you know Remember the Titans.
Washington.
You remember that guy?
Denzel on the Walking Dead.
Be awesome.
Yeah. So, anyways, Ryan Hurst, he's on the show now. He's like 6'5", whatever. If you watch the show, you know what the Whispers are. They're this creepy ass group of people that wear skins on their faces, and
I'm so lost in Walking Dead canon right now. I stopped watching after season 3, so I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
I'm just guessing connections right now.
I think I know. I think I get it.
He like I like come in one night to like save another character from him, and he kills me. And the cool thing about the death though was that it was written as this. It's written as this moment in the script, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna look great. But you never really know. Like sometimes as an actor, you're like reading your script and you're like, oh my god, what a pivotal moment, and then it's like a blip, or it gets cut entirely.
Yeah.
So I show up, and like we choreograph how this fight scene's gonna go. Like basically, he's gonna disarm me. I have this this giant halberd, and he takes it takes it from me, and then like picks me up and throws my head against these like gel cell bars, and I die. And it was a lot quicker than I thought when I read it.
It's like the Stephen.
They didn't do you justice.
But Ryan, who I don't know really well, and who honestly is like very quiet. You might think he doesn't like you just because he's being super quiet. But he was like, oh, you know, like she's been on the show for 4 years, and I think we need to have more of a back and forth right now.
He went to bat for you.
That's cool.
And it was like in those moments when like the producer, writer, and director are all on the spot, and they're like, Yeah, sure.
Like I guess
Okay.
you like I can't disagree with you.
Because now
Yeah.
it would look super shitty,
They'd be
right?
like, no, we don't want to do that.
Yeah, and so Ryan was like, "All right, I was thinking like I do this. She jumps in my bag. We have a tussle, like what?" And he just like, for no reason, like created more of a moment, and it was like so nice for me as a young actor, like to be on the receiving end of that. Like honestly, it really touched me.
That's awesome.
And I tried to tell him later how much it touched me, and I think it was just like, no problem. Bye.
Leave him be. He had a director's moment. He was like, he had a thing. It had nothing to do with you. He's like, I got
so
this
much
idea. Like, let me execute
to get
this
a job.
idea. We need to write her some more lines real quick. Like,
Right.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah, I feel like my thank you, Ryan, was super lost, but whatever. It was like the nicest thing, and it
That's
ended
amazing.
up being more of a moment because of him. I was like, I'm always gonna talk about that in an interview.
you weren't a blip. You weren't a blip.
I wasn't a blip.
So how did you
You're
find
flip.
out you were gonna? What was that
Yeah.
experience like? Finding out you're gonna like reading
Yeah,
the
did
script.
they tell you a week
Yeah.
before, or like what is it?
Well, in true fashion, it was like I found out right before I flew out to do. Okay, but here's how I
man.
knew. Here's how I knew it was coming. They normally my year March to November would belong to Walking Dead for 4 years. If you have, my best friend has a wedding, don't care. Oh, you have a honeymoon, don't care. Oh, like anything, like you gotta be here
Yeah.
or you're gone from the show. Like that's how it
We'll
works.
write you off.
Yes.
We'll figure a way out.
Yep. Yeah. So for 4 years it was like that. And it would be like I'd get a call like 2 days before, 3 days before, like before I'd have to go away for a day up to like 3 weeks.
The industry's ruthless like
It's
that.
ruthless.
Yeah.
But one day I get an email. It's like, hey, we're booking you a month out, like this episode, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like,
Sketchy.
It's a
that
little
doesn't,
fishy.
That doesn't happen.
Suspect.
Yeah.
Suspect.
And I even called my agent. I was like, am I getting killed off the show? And he was like, no. Oh
but
my God, no.
Did you have like because specifically that show they infamously kill off all their characters. 'Cause
Right.
That's just the point of the show. But were you like extra on edge because it was The Walking Dead? Because you're like everyone that gets killed off.
Yeah, like
just waiting for your
in
time
the first
to
year, like what if it's next week? What
Yeah.
if it's the week after?
waiting for your time to click by.
Well, I was told it was going to be 2 episodes. So every episode was like, oh, I got another call.
Oh, your
This is-
character
this is-
was only supposed to be 2 episodes.
Yep.
Oh, this is gravy.
really?
So like
Interesting.
Yeah.
episode 3 through like the next 4 seasons.
like, I guess
it's
I'm
just
doing it
Any
again.
day it could happen.
That's
It's just
like
gravy.
That's like Jesse Pinkman, like Aaron Paul's character
Yeah.
on
Yeah,
Breaking
they're just
Bad.
like kill him
Yes.
He was
immediately.
supposed to
yeah.
do 3 or 4 episodes, and
Yeah.
then they had such a good rapport. It's like he's now the
Gotta
point,
keep him.
and now there's a spin-off movie.
Yeah.
and everything.
Yeah, they
That's
they
amazing.
literally
They
could
didn't
not
know.
fathom the story and narrative without him.
way.
That's amazing.
So that's what you did. You
Yeah.
had a Jesse Pinkman effect on The Walking Dead producers or executives or somebody. So hats off, Lindsley. Hats off. You know.
Kudos.
Yeah,
Yep.
I think there was like a few things. I think the neck tattoo helped my character stand out. Like there was like a couple little
it's
like
brandable.
yes,
It
it
is.
was
You can cosplay.
from a marketing perspective, it was very brandable.
Yeah.
So I was lucky there, and there was like a few like cute, there was some like really cute scenes that I had. And I don't know, I just like got to stick around for longer than I thought, but it was always like really last minute, and I didn't feel like super attached. I really actually didn't feel very attached.
Like it was a job.
It was a job.
Throughout all of it?
Yeah. I mean, I'd be
Can you like talk about that? I think a little bit like the job element. I mean, you're working on The Walking Dead, and it's a job.
Yeah, did it feel like,
Right.
oh, I am now an actress for The Walking Dead, or just feel like, oh, this month I've got this?
Like this contract, I'll be up in September, and we'll see what happens then.
No, it definitely felt like bigger than that. Like I did know at the time, like, oh, this is opening new doors for me. This is like gonna set things off in a different way than things have been happening. Because it doesn't. I mean, just like there are these certain shows that just change the game. I mean, Game
Yeah.
of Thrones, Walking Dead, Mad Men, whatever. And so I did know that it was a game changer, but like I was really careful. Like, and as an actor, I feel like I always am like trying to be really careful with like getting my hopes up about things.
Yeah.
Like the minute I audition, like I really do not hang on to it.
And that's a film industry thing. That's just
Yeah.
putting your
Yeah.
time in. You just
Ingrained.
realize not to get too
Don't take it
excited
personal.
about things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I I really enjoyed my time on Walking Dead, and I was like always excited to be there again. Towards the 3rd or 4th season, when it's a very large cast and everybody's fighting for screen time. I knew that it would be best for me at some point to exit the show, to it's time to like do something new. It's time to like be
make
another
an
character.
impact.
You don't want to
not
forever
spread your
be the
wings.
girl from The Walking Dead.
Yeah, don't overstay your welcome. And it's like either they'll do it or I'll do it. And so I ended up getting killed off. And yeah, it felt really natural. It felt like she honestly stuck around for way longer than I thought. But they gave me a really nice send off, and they gave me a Walking Dead Monopoly game, and yeah, we're on good terms.
So
Awesome.
So, Lindsley, on Walking Dead, since we've kind of wrapped up and talked about like the show as a whole, so what was like one of the most iconic situations that you found yourself in that show? Like maybe something that happened, maybe something that just changed your perspective or lens about the industry, about film, and I'm not looking for like hellos or goodbyes. I'm talking about like really like kind of event and life-changing, situations. I know it's a big one. It's a big
Heavy.
And or how many zombies did you kill? I'd love to know.
No,
Which question?
as Peter says, no nonsense, Michael. I'm asking the no nonsense questions
I
over
love
here.
it.
Heart hitting.
I think that one of the biggest impacts it had on me. I mean, it had so many, but maybe this is a cliche, but getting to watch Andrew Lincoln work and how he led our show as a like number 1 on the cast was really amazing. Because I feel like he set such a bar, and I don't know. Like,
Is he great? Like
he's amazing. Yeah.
he's just like one of those actors you watch and you're just like,
Yeah.
damn.
He's a good guy, and like again, like really focused and like really invested in what we're doing there. Because you do come across actors that show up and they're like, oh, fucking pages, and
Even on studio projects.
Oh my
Absolutely,
God.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is definitely common knowledge. He said this on Seth Rogen, but Robert Downey Jr. doesn't memorize his lines anymore. He gets them fed to him in his ear. Which, I mean, okay, do your thing. But
Crazy.
I really like being around actors that are still excited and enthusiastic about the art of it. And Andrew Lincoln definitely set that tone for the show. And the other amazing thing about working on television is just the variety of directors you get to work with, which is invaluable, to get to work with like so many different styles and so many different people who bring completely different talents to the stage. That was another part I really, really got a lot out
Speak
of.
to that, because I think most people who like most filmmakers even who are listening to this are probably most commonly versed in working on commercials, narrative, short films, where we have one director. Even on a commercial, even if the director is kind of not the same as a narrative director, like they're still a director. Right. So like, what's it like to work on a show, especially as an actress? What's it like to work on a show where you have like somebody new you effectively have to answer to maybe every other week? Okay.
I feel like there's a reason that so many directors want to be feature directors and not television directors, because
it's a writer's medium.
Yeah, unfortunately, I felt like the directors that come onto television shows, especially on Walking Dead, when it's like the cast has been there for 10 years, the producers, some of them have been there since the very beginning too.
The showrunner, the strong showrunner.
Yeah, sometimes
even like an AD who's been there for 3 seasons. Like
it felt like sometimes they'd get like, you didn't get to collaborate with them as much. But that being said, it's like sometimes the director was like I remember this one episode where we got halfway through the day and I was like, who is directing us?
Really?
And they were like, I haven't seen him. I don't know who he is. And the AD, that was his style, was like, he didn't really like to talk to actors. And so he would just tell his AD what to do, and his AD would do everything. But like, we didn't, and we're like, and then we, the cast, did not point him out until like over halfway through our day.
So it almost becomes very 9 to 5, and it's like, the DP Steve, and it's like, what's up, Steve? Like, good to see you today. Like, I guess we're seeing it here. Like, it just becomes very routine and casual, and it's like, well, who's directing today? Is it Robert over there? Like, that who's directing? Like, is that basically
Yeah, I mean, we had a lot of recurring directors for Walking Dead. So like Michael Stretchazimus, who was one of our producers, and you know what? He was a DP too, actually. I think he started as a DP. that I have to give Walking Dead kudos for promoting within house and tons of diversity behind the camera.
Yeah.
It's amazing. They're always bringing in female and like intersectional directors and writers. One of our editors from Walking Dead is one of the best directors like I've worked with on the show.
Wow.
He did an incredible job, and he did so well that they started bringing him back.
I've noticed editors make great directors.
Yeah, because they just know where it's going.
They know what they need.
know what they need.
They know the coverage.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know it's going to
super
cut.
efficient.
Yeah.
Well, it's like Saw. The editor for Saw, the franchise, I think eventually took over at like episode
Did
5
he?
or 6, and then just kind of edited the 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah.
You know, and he was like the original editor.
Yeah, and it was funny to me going from indie where like directors are so I mean I get it. If I was a young director, I feel like I'd want to like work with the actor like so much and like
The passion.
yeah, and like just everything. But like when you move from like indie, I feel like to professional, like they're just like, all right, let's see what you're thinking.
They trust you a little more.
Okay, yeah, that looks
Yeah,
good.
studio
And-
directors definitely have a different tacit with actors and actresses than
Yeah.
indie films do. Like it's much more like corporate and like
Yeah.
I respect you. That was a good decision. Let's see it sadder. Let's see it sadder. All right, everyone back to 1. Let's see it sadder. You know, like
I was blown away by the amount of trust, like walking onto those sets. When, like, I mean, it wasn't unique to one director. Like a lot of them with the blocking, a lot of them would just be like, "All right, what were you feeling? Let's just see the scene play out," and like would let me like rely on my instincts to like make organic choices, which was. Oh my gosh, I felt like I was like set free.
Do you like that better? Do you like that better than like an indie director who's going to be like, all right, Lindsley, you're going to walk from, you know, the couch and you're going to sit there and you're going to get up and you're going to pause. You're going to wait a beat.
Yep.
You're going to respond, you know, like where they
God.
feed you the directions
Exactly
and you're going step by step. Like, what do you prefer?
I prefer to be thinking character thoughts.
Okay.
Like, so I prefer to like, if we could do less planning, to me that's preferable. I get that like some moments like you have to take the drag on like that one line or like or whatever, or that really has to be like you have to like get here when you say that. Like I totally
You're not
get
bumping
that.
into somebody as you're saying
Right.
something. Or...
But like, but generally speaking, I prefer like I kind of like revert back to my theater background. Like I'd really like for this to be like a motivated choice, and I think it will like read more natural if that's possible.
Gotcha.
But I think that there is like a thing where like actors don't want to be underdirected, where like
Yep.
it makes them like
Yeah.
feel good to like get notes and like to talk like a little like it's like a little pillow talk or
You
something.
exploit your trade a little bit, you
Yeah.
know, like you get to show that you're like, I was cast for a reason. I have this role. Let me show you that I can make changes in my performance.
But don't
and-
give me a damn
Yeah.
line reading.
Yeah, exactly. don't feed it to me. Don't tell me beat for beat, you know,
Yeah.
what I'm doing and when I'm doing it.
Yeah, because like those days that like the directors that were like super hands off, I feel like everybody wanted to be like, I don't know about that take, like they wanted to be like,
There needed some like some affirmation that it was like that was good. Let's
Yeah.
move on. We're good.
right,
Yeah.
exactly.
So Walking Dead happens, right? What happens after Walking Dead? You get killed off. You get thrown into bars.
Well, I just got killed off actually in March.
Last March, so
Dang.
a
This
little
past
over.
March?
2019
Oh,
or
this March.
This past March.
2020.
Really? It was that recent?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
So I haven't been
Oh, so
on
this is
such-
major spoiler. Major spoiler.
Oh, yeah.
We've said it.
Yeah, but,
It's already out though,
but
right?
Everyone's been home for 6 months.
Yeah,
They've
that's
seen
fair.
it.
That's fair.
It's already out, right, Lens?
Yep. It premiered. It
It's
premiered
aired,
in
so
March.
We're good.
All right,
Yeah.
safe.
We're good.
Safe.
We're safe.
All right.
Oh my God. Yeah, I would never.
Yeah.
I would be assassinated right here, right now.
Yeah.
By the way, this episode's out
ninja
this
drops
week.
down.
You'll see her die.
Yeah. So tune in.
All right. So you're dead. You're dead on Walking
Yeah.
Dead. What's next?
Well, what's next is a global pandemic
Yeah,
in
that
which
was
millions
fun.
of people die.
Nice. Hell yeah.
Oh God.
I don't think
So
we're
what
up
are
to
your
millions
thoughts on-
yet, but
What are your thoughts on masks? So that's kind of what I'm in the middle of right now. I'm really just like back to the same thing, like back to auditioning, which is still somewhat existent.
Mhm.
I mean, people are casting like hoping and praying that their projects will get shot at some point.
it's so weird to do that in
Yeah.
blind faith. It seems
Yeah.
like such a weird diversion of energy.
Yeah. So like I've even had callbacks for things that they aren't even moving forward on, just because like why would you want to bring someone on to your project right now when you don't know when it's gonna get shot? So so I don't really know what's gonna happen. Other than I'm in the middle of promoting a film that Connor DP'd 4 years ago.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Scorn. So you shot. So this is a film called Scorn.
December 2016, I believe.
So this is long.
Long time
this
ago.
is long
Yeah.
before or concurrent with Walking Dead.
Had I booked Walking Dead when I was
You
at
had
Scorn?
booked it because I was told, it's like, because I hadn't met you, and it was like, she's on The Walking Dead now, and it's gonna be good for like marketing.
Okay, so you were a fresh. You were
How was
green
I
it
must
to
have
Walking
been,
Dead.
yeah.
Yeah.
I must have been
You
like
must
the
have
first
just gotten
season.
it.
Yeah.
So tell us about Scorn. Tell us about your experience shooting Scorn and what even is it?
So basically, I was coming out of college, and so Alexander McPherson, who plays Liam, we had known each other for a while. We really, really wanted to make a feature together. I was like, I just want an opportunity to be in a feature. I mean, it was as simple as that. And he was like, fuck yeah. And we went to the best writer we knew, who I know, a friend from college, Jonathan Kirk, who met Connor out here in LA.
I met him on my first. It was the show that got me into the union. It was as a camera assistant. It was a Nickelodeon show called Mutton Stuff. Silly for Nick Jr. with dogs and stuff. And he was he hustled that show. He started off as like a PA, and then he became like the key PA, and then he was like doing AD stuff, and then there were certain days where he would just take over as first AD. It was pretty wild.
Wow.
And then we became friends, and he would like send me scripts he was writing and stuff, and then we started like kind of creatively collaborating. And he was like, I'm trying to be a writer director, and I was like, I'm trying to be a DP, and we hit it off. And then he told me about this project
Yeah.
that he wrote.
So he wrote an entire script called Venus in the Brook, which I
I read.
referred to, referenced in Scorn. We talk about Venus in the Brook, the movie, which was the original movie we were supposed to make.
Yeah.
So anyways, he then writes Scorn. I don't remember why we wrote an entire new script, but he wrote Scorn. I loved it. It was very Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, basically a thriller that takes place all in one night. And we loved it. We had to have Connor to DP, of course, and we shot it in Charlottesville, Virginia, at this amazing Airbnb.
How was shooting in Virginia? I mean, you've lived in LA, you shot in Georgia now, you've done professional indie, pretty both sides of the board.
Yeah.
Like what was for people who live in LA and are filmmakers here regularly and people who have no idea what the LA experience is like, what was it like shooting in Charlottesville?
We asked for a lot of favors from the Kirk Cameron film
Oh.
department.
Right.
And honestly, there was some high quality people there. Like I think of like Louis Guthrie. And,
Some of the people we worked with are now like in the industry.
Yeah,
like,
Really?
doing
Georgia.
really good stuff.
That's great.
Heidi Sneed. So
We had
some,
Juan, our editor, who was like,
oh yeah,
he's a huge editor,
And here's the thing that's
Yeah.
really nice about shooting out there instead of out here is like people I feel like are just a bit more like down. Like sure, why not? Like out here because it's like kind of because it's an industry town. It's like we all know what our rates should be.
Yeah.
And
This
we
is a
all
job.
know
Yeah.
this is a job and I'm just here, So but out there it was like I just felt like people like got on board with like, oh yeah, I want this to be great too.
Well, your
and-
job is a
Yeah.
novelty. Like literally, your job is a novelty. Like if you are paid
Yeah.
to be a filmmaker, like in Wisconsin, like my debut feature that I shot in Kenosha, Wisconsin, it was like
Oh,
it was
cool.
super easy to like get
Get
local
locations.
businesses and locations, and they're like,
Yeah.
you want to shoot what? And I'm like, I'm shooting a movie.
And they're like,
It's
a movie?
Yeah,
Sweet.
yeah.
You
All
know,
those small towns, like,
and then-
we can be in one. Of
Yeah.
course, you can do.
And then-
this.
and then-
Extras?
It's-
yes.
And then Peter, of course, it's Wisconsin, so the next step is like, you're like, I need to get a film permit, and they're like,
why?
what's a film permit? Like,
they're
are you
like-
sure you need that? I'm like,
Yeah.
I think so. I mean, I'd like to
guess
shoot
not.
here.
And then out here, everyone's like, sure, you can do that, but what do I get?
Yeah.
How do I get?
I need $10,000
Give
an
me some
hour.
money.
You have to get a
Yeah.
film permit
Yeah.
through the
It's,
city.
Oh, I can be in a movie. Cool. Fuck you. Give me some
Yeah.
money.
the paid
Yeah.
exposure doesn't go as far. In the
No.
South.
No.
Definitely not.
No.
Yeah.
So don't shoot a movie in LA if you
Yeah.
can help
Yeah.
it. That's the lesson from this.
Yeah.
Anyways, continue.
Yeah.
But so we had some really incredible people just like that I knew through school come on to do the bare minimum jobs. We shot it in 9 days.
9 days, that's it?
Yeah.
Wow.
We shot how many pages a day did we do?
9 days, and I think we technically shot like 7 or 8 because we had like company moved. Like we started in Lynchburg for the first couple days, and then we had to like drive over And so I think there was like an entire day we didn't shoot. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Were you guys putting crew up, or was crew
Technically
local?
8 days.
Local. But we had to put them up in Charlottesville. So
Oh wow.
Airbnbs and and then I obviously flew from LA.
What was that like, Connor? What was like sourcing your
was
your camera team? Like, because I'm sure the
crazy.
language of crew has just got to be completely different. Like, and I've experienced that. Like when I hire like Grip and Electric from New York, it's like there's very minor things when they submit like a bid to me or something. And I'm like, I actually have to be like, what is this? Because I'm not familiar with whatever this line item is that they're submitting or this,
Yeah, well, I mean, it was super indie, and I didn't have a lot of the equipment I have now, but I flew with like a giant duffel bag of what I did have, checked it, flew it, prayed that it made it there, and then we got a lot of local equipment and stuff like that. And then it's similar to Parallax, like I didn't know any of my crew before.
Okay, so you literally just showed
my
up.
Gaffer, my AC, I didn't. Yeah, so it's similar to Parallax in a way, where I didn't know my crew.
You just hope that your producers got you a good team and pray for the
Yeah,
best.
but everyone was just like down, so I was assuaged early on as far as like wasn't worried about but no, it was interesting. And then like for me, the pace of the film, which is I think we were shooting like sometimes like 15 pages a day, like that was common.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's a dialogue heavy piece, largely one location, so the challenges of lighting consistency, because it takes place over like a couple hours, so it needs to look exactly the same.
And doing that 9 days in a row.
You're dealing with, we're going over, and now the sun's coming up, and we have to black out these all that stuff. And then, but it was amazing, like amazing crew, amazing cast. I always have this funny story where I was so some of the heads of the film were sleeping in the location just for efficiency versus like going a few miles away to an Airbnb. And I was just like, we had these long days on set, and then I would sleep. I shared a bed with Jonathan, the director.
Oh, yes.
Shared a bed with him, and it was upstairs from our location. And then so we just would like finish shooting and just walk upstairs and go to sleep, and then wake up and then come downstairs and like be going over like the script for the day as we're like drinking coffee,
Yeah.
And I just felt like I started dreaming, as all I was doing was that, and I started dreaming. My dreams were
that's a phenomenon.
I was dreaming that I was on set.
Oh yeah.
And it was very vivid of like the actual shoot that we were on. I was dreaming that we were shooting the movie. So I feel like I just never felt like I went to sleep. Like I was never like the sleep was not like relaxing. It was not rejuvenating.
I've literally line produced like countless TV movies where I've stayed on location and like woken up like with these hallucinogenic dreams of like the accounting being wrong, or like we're in the middle of shoot and I'm like wake up in the room and I'm like, wait, how the hell did I get here? Like why am I here?
Your work life and your personal life there's no difference when you're sleeping at your work, So that was interesting, but it was like, I mean, that was just like a funny story. But it was amazing, yeah.
So what was it like to work? I'm sure you worked with local actors? Question mark?
The cast is only like 4 people.
Oh.
Yeah. So I knew all the other actors. I mean, it was the fall after I graduated from college. That's how like fresh this piece is. So, and like, all the background that we needed was all from people I knew from school, church.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So it was very like community driven. It was very like a hometown hero kind of piece.
My mom, I think, might have made a meal at one point and brought it to us, like that kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, those are always fun projects.
Yes.
Connor, do you want to cue up a little teaser for Scorn here?
Oh yeah, let's do that. Okay, so this is the trailer for Scorn. Here we go.
Have you ever abandoned someone? Someone who would have given anything, done anything just to make you happy? Did you love her?
No. You're scared that someday everyone's gonna figure out that you don't deserve to be here. I think you should leave.
No! You broke your promise, Liam. To never do that again. Oh, you'll take the high road. You probably think I'm crazy. And I'll take the road
Name one thing in your life that wasn't handed to you.
I'll be in Scotland before
Hey!
love will never meet again.
I am not an afterthought.
I hurt my hand there.
Floor's all yours, Romeo.
On the bonny, bonny banks of Loch Lomond.
There it is.
Boom.
Das ist Scorn.
That was great.
That was awesome.
So what's going on with Scorn, Lindsley?
So you can watch it, I think, for $4.99 on Amazon Prime. And it's coming international really soon, actually, as well. I can't be specific about which countries, but we did get some expanded distribution, which is really exciting.
But for listeners in America, Amazon Prime,
Correct.
$4.99.
Wait, the States and where else? Not even Canada. I think it's just the States, yeah.
Right now, just the States, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if you're a
It'll have an
listener in the
international.
States, you can find Scorn on Amazon Prime, $4.99.
Or set your VPN if you're in another country. Set your VPN to the United
That's
States.
Tricky,
Pro tip,
tricky.
That's
and you
true.
can watch it.
Yeah, boy.
Sponsored by NordVPN. No. Love that sponsor. Cool. Well, thank you for being on here. Do you guys have any like last minute questions?
I got one. I got one for
You
you.
got one,
Lindsay.
Peter?
Okay, so Walking Dead, pretty big, right? People recognize you. Did you have any at all, like the biggest flex moment of like, this is who I am. I get this kind of thing. Was there a big flex moment anywhere?
Like bust out the call sheet. Like
Yeah.
I'm number 8.
You mean like
Or
the
like-
people that like aren't on the show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of
so like a
course.
random, or like you're waiting for a dinner reservation. You're like, I'm on the fucking Walking
You're
Dead.
in and
Tell
out.
me-
Like, don't make me wait 30 minutes
Yeah.
for my, you know.
Okay, like this is gonna make me sound like such a manipulative crazy.
Great. Do
But,
it.
like-
Great. Dive in.
Let's talk real for a second. I'm not gonna pull that card because like that's not classy. What I do is I'll let my very dear friends pull the card.
there you go.
And then
Humble.
oh god.
My
please
friends on The
stop.
Walking Dead, can we please get in here? Like,
Oh,
come
I
on.
thought it's true.
So it was like a
Oh, I'm
reservation
so
or somewhere.
That's
or
the move.
Getting into tenants or something.
There you go. That's the move.
Yeah.
So you stand in the back and like, you know, put your head into your like, you know, the crevice of your elbow and like, oh my gosh, stop. Like stop
That's-
making me such a big deal, guys.
Yeah, that's my role. But like,
Awesome.
weren't you with me at what's Davy
Wayne's?
Wayne's?
Yeah.
When that
Yep.
when that couple bought me drinks.
Yep.
Oh, because of the show?
Yeah.
Oh,
There you go.
That's a good one.
Those are the
Yeah.
moments when it comes in handy. When
Yeah.
people are like, "Oh my god, are you on Walking Dead? Oh my god, I'll buy you around."
It's amazing.
that rocks.
Yeah.
I love the casualness
That's awesome.
of it. It's so
Yeah.
LA.
It's very LA, but okay. But I will also just like say this really quickly. More people recognize Walking Dead actors in like Southeast rural states than even here in LA because it's so popular over there.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
The guns and the apocalypse and the fighting and the zombies.
Takes place in the South.
So
and-
I produced an indie last year in Appalachia. Austin Emilio was one of my leads. He's great. He's a real fun guy.
Why are you just telling me this now?
I know, right? I had to bust this out.
Oh, I love
So
him.
we're shooting in literally like rural ass Ohio, and I'm not like when I say rural, like it's rural. Like it's not like descriptive of anything else. It's rural Ohio. It's really far down in southwest Ohio, and we're shooting at this old abandoned. I think it was like an elementary school or something, and I'm like. When I say like again, it's in the boonies. It was in the boonies. Like we are like an hour from the closest like city, you know. And we're shooting at 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning and overnight. And there's like a couple pickup trucks, and they keep passing, and they turn around and they pass again. And I'm just sitting outside killing time because I'm like I'm just like a producer on the show, like a production manager, and you know I was just like killing time because it's an overnight. What am I gonna do? And like some of the P's are like, hey, you know, like Michael, like, you know, like boss, you know, it's like kind of weird. These pickups keep driving by.
Yeah.
So it's like Southwest Ohio. Like, I'm just like, whatever. Like, how bad can this be? Like, I understand how bad it can be, but like, you know, how bad can this be? You know, like,
Yeah.
what are they going to do? Like, this is like a legitimate film set. Like, what are they going to do? So I kind of like walk up to the road and they like pass again. I'm like, hey, can I help you guys? And they're like, hey, is this The Walking Dead? We know Austin is shooting here. And I'm like, no, this is not The Walking Dead. good catch on the Austin thing, but not The Walking Dead.
How
And
did
they're
they
like,
know he was shooting?
it was
there?
weird. We were literally in the middle of nowhere. I don't understand. And they were like, they literally looked at me and they were like, all right, have a good night. Never drove back again.
Maybe
It was
Damn.
it was just the
Location.
acknowledgement of it was like, it's not The Walking Dead. Austin Emilio, yeah, but not The Walking Dead. And they were like, okay, see you later. Have a good night.
Fans would come to our hotel in Atlanta and like sit at the bar, and like there was this one night where this woman was like, "Hey, I'm not gonna bother you guys, but can I just like sit with you?" And we were just like, "Okay." We all just said sure, and like this woman just like.
Who were you with?
I was with Kari Payton, who plays Ezekiel.
Okay.
I was with Cooper, who plays. I can't remember all the names.
Yeah.
Carrie
Bunch
Cahill.
of actors from the
A bunch
show.
of actors,
Yeah.
and she just like sat there in silence, like
Didn't say nothing. Not
didn't
like.
say, and we were
what's
just
it
like, so anyway.
And it sucks because we're not coming at it from
Weird.
like this pretentious angle. It's like we're trying to demystify that it's like we're just people.
Totally.
Like who cares?
People waited outside off of our sets. They would bring camping chairs and like sit there all day to take pictures of like who's going to the bathroom and like back and forth.
Oh, it's so weird.
One girl would
It's hardcore
always be walking
fandom.
down the halls like of the hotel, like.
And again, it sucks because it's the fantasy of our industry. It's like what the novelty that is sold of like what the film industry is, and it's not that at all. Like,
Yeah.
like there are definitely labor positions in the film industry that, work harder than plumbers, or harder than carpenters. Like it's not this like glamorous job. Even as an actor, it's like not a even as an actor and actress, it's not usually more often than not a glamorous job.
Yeah.
Did you have any like saying people walking down your halls at your hotel? Any like scary, weird, worrisome moments with fans?
At the cons, we normally have bodyguards.
Really?
Yeah, security there because like
I would
it
think
just
so.
gets,
Yeah.
There's a lot of people there,
yeah,
and
those
like
cons are,
People
Yeah.
get
crazy.
real into a show. They
Yeah.
might
Yeah.
hate that character so much.
There's just
you know what I mean?
thousands of people.
Yeah.
So I was always with someone else in those moments. But when it comes to just like being at the hotel, like normally it was just like if you go down to the bar, like that's gonna happen. Like where
Yeah.
people know, everybody knows that the actors from The Walking Dead like stay there, and so it's like a big thing. But nothing. Oh, well, here's what did make me feel unsafe.
Oh, boy.
Getting mail to my address.
Ooh,
My
yeah.
home address. Like,
Oh yeah.
Dang,
'cause-
really?
Got
yeah.
doxxed.
That's
Because they will
creepy.
send they'll send photos of you to your agent and then be like, and then put a self-addressed stamped envelope inside and be like, hey, can you sign this and like return it to me? And so I would do that, but then they started coming to my personal address and my parents' address.
Oh.
That didn't feel good.
Even
Or like
creepier.
weird phone calls. Like one time some guy like DM'd me my own phone number to like let me know that he like had my number and like was calling me like saying really awful scary things in the middle of the night.
Jesus.
So there's been
Did
like
you
a
change your
little-
number?
Ugh.
Yes.
When was this?
This was like 2 years ago.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he was saying really terrible things and like in the middle of the night it was like really scary.
Damn.
But so sometimes that stuff happens, but I've been pretty fortunate that like I feel like my character, people only seek me out to tell me good things.
Positive things.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good thing.
And I
Yeah.
really just don't want to exit that stage. I'm like,
Yeah.
You don't want to be a villain.
like a character that's been over fantasized or
and so
been
everybody's
made
just
to
like,
be over.
fuck
Yeah.
her,
Yeah.
she's a bitch, like, oh, she's
Yeah.
ugly, like, oh.
Like, can you imagine Skylar from Breaking Bad? Oh, the hate mail,
yeah.
man.
The
The
hate.
hate mail.
Or like
Oh.
Joffrey from Game of Thrones. Someone really wants to kill him, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
for real.
Like,
He
so
stopped acting,
legitimately,
too.
there is one
I don't know if that's
person
why.
in the world that genuinely
yeah,
blames
they
him.
really want to kill him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I usually end on like what's the craziest or funniest story. You kind of touched on the crazy stuff, but like, do you have
Yeah.
like a moment that stands out just in your career so far?
Okay,
Anything
maybe
like that?
I feel like the fan favorite will be something from maybe some I don't know. Okay, let's say this. The first scene that I showed up to film for season 1. I have a lot of like funny first day stories, I think. The guy who plays my dad, who I knew as the heartthrob from Cheetah Girls,
I love
Damn.
that movie.
Shout out Cheetah Girls.
is standing there wearing nothing but a sock over his
Ooh,
man
a
A
parts.
cock sock. That's literally what they call it. That's what they call it. So okay, so people don't know when actors film sex scenes, they're nude, but they have coverings over their genitals generally. So
A cocksock.
Known as a cocksock.
Yeah, boom.
Yeah.
And he's just like standing there on the balcony. Like it was supposed to be this funny like scene where like the daughter comes out and she's like, "What's up, Dad?" And he's like, like naked. But he was standing on a public. He was standing on the balcony of like on the first story, and like people are walking by and like, "Oh my God!" And I'm supposed to meet him and like shake his hand, and he's like standing there fully nude.
That was not part of the scene?
It was part of the scene that we were gonna film.
But you were meeting him, like, you're about to roll, and this is, like, your chance to
I hadn't
introduce
met
yourself.
him as an actor until that moment.
Oh,
And so I'm
excellent.
like,
What an
First
introduction.
impression.
I'm
Yeah.
like, hi. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Damn.
All right, so
That's
why
hilarious.
don't you tell the audience where they can check you out, where they can find you if they've never heard of you before, you know?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram as Lindsley Register and Twitter as Lindsley Reggie. You can always watch Scorn on IMDb, or excuse me,
Amazon Prime.
on Amazon Prime.
Yep.
Not
Yep.
IMDb. That's where you check out cast and crew.
Yep.
What else? Yeah, I do a little bit of YouTube vlogging, like whenever I feel like sharing things, and
Are you worth following?
absolutely.
Like subscribe immediately.
Boom.
Yeah, like I'd say it should be really high on your priority list.
So do you know what your YouTube channel is off the top of your head?
Yeah, it's youtube.com/LindsDLEY-REGISTER.
Complicated. Damn.
I was honestly hoping you were not going to be able to say what it was, and we were just going to completely deflate the whole YouTube thing. So. All right, Lindsay. Well, thank you so much for being here with
thank
us.
you so
This
much,
this has been an amazing conversation. It's been very eye-opening.
Yeah, you were very. I appreciate how candid you were with like all your experiences on like Walking Dead and stuff. And you know, I love you, so I'm so glad we got to do this.
Me too.
This is amazing. So keep watching the podcast. You can follow me at connorheck.com or connorheck.dp on Instagram. Michael, Peter.
You can check out my Instagram, MWBachochin. You can also follow the Primal Group at The Primal Group. You can find us on Instagram. We'll be posting all of our episodes. You can also find it at theprimalgroup.us, where we'll be posting new episodes every week, every Tuesday.
I got no plugs.
And a strong.
That's it. I got no plugs.
Do you have a jingle at least?
I don't even have a jingle.
All right, guys.
On
Peter's
my-
off. Peter's off with no jingle. Everybody take it easy. Have a good week.
Thanks.
I'm sick of plugging my Instagram.
That was awesome.
That was great, guys.